So 10:28, I want to take you to the floor. Senate moments ago, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, with the clock ticking right now, talking about the government shutdown that could happen on Friday night on behalf of Democrats in the Senate.
But thanks to the Democrat leader's decision to abandon the fiscal year 2025 appropriations process, the continuing resolution we have before us is the best option we have to fund the government for the balance of this year. And so, Mr. President, it's time for the Democrat leader to acknowledge that it's his decisions that put us here and to urge his colleagues to accept the situation and vote to fund the government rather than to let it shut down at midnight on Friday.
So there you go. That debate continues. Former New York City Mayor, Democrat Bill de Blasio is here in studio to talk about this and a lot of things. How you doing? Good morning to you.
Great, Bill.
Great to facial hair, you know, that's what happens.
Letting it grow free, Bill.
I see.
You should try that look tomorrow, Bill.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good on him.
Maybe by Monday. You were like one of the progressive leaders, you know, during 2017, 18, 19 into COVID. 2024, that election really slammed the door shut on the progressive movement. How badly do you think you misread the American electorate?
No, I'm going to disagree with you on the progressive movement, because I think what happened is the Democratic Party lost touch with some of the things that the progressive movement was saying that people cared about. The progressive movement was strong when we were talking about things like health care that people needed, making college more affordable, higher minimum wage. Unfortunately, in 2024, we didn't have that message bluntly. I think our message was unclear, and that's part of why we lost the election. Bill, I think we could have won that election. If Joe Biden obviously had moved aside earlier, if Kamala Harris had said she was going to take us in a different direction, but not just continue what Joe Biden was doing, I think we could have won that election. So my message to the Democratic Party is let's get back to our roots, talk about working people, not sound like the elite, not focus on our donors, focus on working people, and we can actually move forward again.
Did you think President Biden was up to the job mentally?
You know, I'm going to be confessional here, Dana. I'm, like so many other Democrats, wanted to believe, and we were wrong, and we should have been more critical.
Do you think you were lied to?
I don't think I was lied to. I think it was magical thinking. We wanted to believe what we wanted to believe. I think, I'm sure not everyone will agree, I think he did some very good things as president, but it was clear that he was not the same person towards the end of the term.
And yet they were asking all of you to campaign for him, to donate money, and that they said he was perfect for the next 4 years. How much did that set the Democratic Party back?
I think it hurt a lot. I think a lot of people felt betrayed. But I am also saying all of us need to accept some responsibility, because he did, in my view, he governed well on many levels, but he was not ready to continue for 4 more years. We should have just come to grips with that. I think if we had had an open process, if it was not, here's an anointed candidate, we actually had a process, we would have had a stronger candidacy.
Would you have run?
No, not me, but we would have had a stronger candidacy. And I think that was, I mean, look at the numbers. It was a winnable election. And instead of us as Democrats wringing our hands and crying, let's just get back on the horse and ride again, because we have something to say.
It may be not winnable when you look at the battleground states all going for Trump. And what President Trump is arguing right now is the progressive movement went overtime on the transgender issue in America. And that's what cost you the election.
No, I don't think that's the issue. I think the border was a huge problem. I think
that's two things.
Much more than the transgender dynamics. I think inflation. I mean, look, here's an obvious example, Bill. Democrats had a chance to say, here's what we're going to do about inflation, here's what we're going to do about the border. And those messages just weren't clear. And people had every right to want those answers. In fact, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were doing something about health care costs, lowering the price of insulin. That was good, but it wasn't a full enough answer. So I think we need to look at this and say, we blew it. Let's just say it out loud. We blew it. People did not feel we understood them and were empathizing enough. That is fixable. By the way, think about those voters, and there are many in this country who voted for Barack Obama twice, Donald Trump then Joe Biden, then Donald Trump again. Those are not voters who couldn't return to the Democratic Party. By definition, those are voters we can win back.
Although you could look at it the other way and say that Joe Biden winning was the aberration, right? And that election in 2020 was also very close. On transgender males playing in women's sports, where do you come down on that?
So I was a sports parent. Both my kids played sports. I was into it. My son did travel baseball. Look, I think there's legitimate concern there. I don't think it should be
for the women.
Well, I think parents who are concerned that there might be unequal competition, that's a fair discussion. Now, I would say bluntly, before high school, I think we should be much more open. When you get to high school and college, I think it's a much more legitimate discussion. What I don't like is the insensitivity I think is being shown to what parents and kids are going through. If a kid feels in their heart, in their soul, they have a different identity, we got to realize that's an emotional reality, and a parent cannot ignore that.
What about the girls, though, who are missing out on scholarship opportunities because they are, like, for example, the young woman who got banged in the head by the volleyball player?
No, it's a legitimate concern.
It's a legitimate concern.
Yeah,
and the Democrats, do you think they're on the wrong side of this right now?
No, I think I'd say it differently. I'd say, as a parent, first let's show sensitivity and concern for what parents and kids are grappling with. Because this stuff didn't just come out of thin air. There have been people for centuries who felt their identity didn't match. And we got to be honest about that. And we want to show sensitivity and concern for those individuals, for those children.
That's true. It doesn't
children.
mean that they should be playing in the sport.
Well, I think that's the difference. Where do we draw the line in terms of sports? And I'd say I don't think we should have a debate before high school. I think before high school we should say, let everyone play whatever their identity is. High school and college, let's have a deeper conversation about how to make things fair. I think that's an honest conversation.
So it'd be a big election here. 4 months, you got a primary, Democratic mayor. We'll see what happens there. New York, 7-1 Democrats. Even though there was a shift to the right in this election in November, it's still 7-1 Democrats. Here's what is going on right now in the polling. Andrew Cuomo appears to have a solid lead at 31%. Over the current mayor, Eric Adams, at 11%. I want you to reflect on that, but I also want to bring up the fact that this is now 5 years removed since COVID, and you were the one in charge, and we're relying on a lot of the guidance you gave. Wall Street Journal headline, long past the pandemic, kids skip school in New York. The city's rate of chronic absenteeism shot up from 25% of students before COVID to 34.8% last year. You got a chance now to reflect on this. What would you do different?
Well, first of all, that absenteeism problem is profound, and it was profound even before COVID. It's just worse now. This is something we have to come to grips with in this country. Why our schools are not doing a better job of getting kids engaged and keeping them there. So that's something we tried to work on. We didn't get far enough, is the truth. But when I think of COVID overall, look, this city has made a miraculous recovery. And New Yorkers were heroic. They were heroic during COVID. We were the epicenter.
Still trying to get people to come back to the office.
Yeah, but that's a different matter. That was a bigger cultural change, Bill, that happened across the whole country. And remote work it's a blessing and a curse, let's be honest. But the life of this city, the jobs have come back, the energy, you go around, look at the restaurants.
The city looks terrible. I mean,
wait, what is terrible?
I walk all the time. And I'm just telling you, like for example, this city should be a jewel. And the trash drives me crazy.
I hear you.
That is outrageous. We shouldn't be like that.
I can take you to my subway stop. The vagrants there on a daily basis.
No,
they were never there in 2019. Never.
Hold on. We got two different things going on here.
I think it's the same.
It's the same.
No, wait.
It's a quality of life problem.
It is a quality of life problem. I'm not going to disagree with that. And I think we got to do a much better job, both in terms of providing mental health and finding aggressive but also legal ways to get people in if they are in that situation. If someone can't control their own life and take care of themselves, they should not be on the street. Simple as that. But let's separate that from the fact that this city has the jobs have come back, the energy has come back, the rents are incredibly high, too high, in fact, but that does not suggest a city people don't want to be in. This is a place people want to be in.
I love this city. I was born in Wyoming. And I ended up being a New Yorker, and I love this place, and I want it to get better. And I do feel like it's been very, very slow to get better. When it comes to any of those candidates, do you support any of them?
I'm not endorsing anyone yet, but I want to say something real important. At this exact moment in 2013, when I was running for mayor, if you had put that same chart up, you would have seen me in 4th place. The election is over 3 months away. A lot can happen. So I think what's going to happen is Andrew Cuomo has some very obvious negatives. What happened with the nursing homes, the cover-up after that, what happened with the women who allege harassment, that's all going to come forward. And I think one of these other candidates is going to emerge as a strong alternative, and then it's game on. 3 months is a lifetime.
It's ranked choice voting now, too, and we're not quite sure how that's going to work out. Listen, thank you for coming by. We have 100 more questions.
And we love the city.
And I have 100 more answers.
Okay, so when you get a moment, I want to talk about the jails and like this whole prison plan and what the effect of that will be on crime. And
happy to do so, and we're glad we got you from Wyoming.
Yes.
We owe them a draft choice, though.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bill de Blasio. Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.